Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, February 21st, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We have seen a pullback on a one-day basis here in the previous session, where price pushed just above the previous highs and then came out and took out the multiple day lows. Still within the narrow range here. You can see on a 6-day basis here, still compressed. If you put this out to a 7 or 8 day basis, still compressed, but also still within the very clear uptrending market here. I've mentioned before that if price were to pull back, it may be a very good buying opportunity right back toward the lower line of this channel here. So if I can draw a better lower line here, something like this, we may come back to that lower line somewhere in this area, maybe 3,300, and that could provide a bounce. Right now, again, this market had a really good bounce to begin the month and has just gone flat here late in the month, and again that could lead to a little bit of profit taking, and as we come into the pivot range next month, it could be a buying opportunity for a continuation higher. So right now this market still remains bullish overall. We have to see how deep the pullback will be. If this is all we get right now, then perhaps we close the day higher. This thing could continue to quietly push higher throughout the day, and we close higher. So we'll see how this develops here, but again, 3340 is going to be very important, because if at any point here this market fails to hold that 3340, that's when this thing can rotate quite a bit more to the downside. Alright, let's take a look here at the NQ. With the NQ, this one also had a pretty solid pullback in the previous session. It bounced nicely from the lows of the day, but came back pretty deep here today to retest prices inside the PIMA trigger zone below that 8-period average here. Anytime price gets below it, it's a buy. In here, you see it push higher, and now we're in it again. And you see that this holding here, this LVN at 9,500. Price got as low as 95.17 in the previous session and held. Again, this could provide a bounce opportunity here. We could pull back as deep as this 9,300 level as well and still be a good buying opportunity. So there could be a deeper pullback perhaps along this line that could still provide a great buy. If we see 9,300, that could be a great area to watch for rejection. Again, not sure we even get that low, but if we do, especially heading into the beginning of next month, because we have a higher value relationship, here's the midpoint of next month's range. As of right now, we could easily fall into that zone next month and be a great buy down the road. So I want to mention that level ahead of time. Alright, let's take a look here at crude oil. You'll see here with crude, we've had this one headed higher for a while. We had it on our radar ever since bears were defending here, but new lows weren't being seen. On the higher low here, we mentioned that it could start its way higher. So we've had this thing nicely pushing higher. One thing that's happened here is that we've put in a little bit of a top here at 54.66. Remember, 57.28 is the ideal high probability target, and again, we could fall as deep as 51 or 50.60 and still be a buy for a continuation toward that end. Right now, we'll see how much of a reversal, if at all, the market gets off of this pullback here, because one thing you're seeing that's different now is this 8-period average had been sloping down for 2+ months. It's now sloping up. Ever since it took a bid here, when it got below it here, it was bought back up. It got below it here, bought back up. We're not quite there just yet, but if price were to fall below that level, that could provide a very nice buy. So below 52.50, right now this is 52.50. If price were to drop anywhere between 52 and 52.50, that could be an ideal trap zone here for a shot at pushing this thing higher, ultimately into that 57 zone. Again, if we fail to hold, say 50.60, then this thing fails, but this thing could drop as deep as that and still be a great continuation the way it's playing out right now. Alright, let's take a look at GC. This one is on fire to the upside. Major breakout here, 1644s. You can see from the lows of the month, it's been very bullish, but really it only increased in intensity here at the end of last week when it broke out of this near-term range. That opened up some upside. We got a big push through 1600 and never came back to it, and it's exploding again to the upside. And it's pretty curious here that the broader market's not pulling back more, considering how strong this is. If you look at the lows of the month to where we currently are, the ES and the NQ look very similar to GC here. The difference is GC has picked up the last 4 days or 6 days, and the broader market has gone quiet up here those last 4 or 6 days. So again, got to continue to see how this plays out, but this market appears very, very strong and continues to forge higher. Any pullback continues to be a buying opportunity. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out the rest of the session. Happy Friday. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.